Hello, everyone, and welcome to the very first episode of what I will be calling Sports Talks. My name is Jonah. This was an idea that came into my head a few days ago, just to upload a video every week or so, talking about what I think is going on in sports right now, whether it's a major news story or just kind of in general. So for this week, I have three topics that I kind of want to talk about. Number one, the college football playoffs. Number two, the NFL, and the final segment will be a short segment on the UMD men's hockey team and what I thought of their series against Denver. So first of all, we have the college football playoffs. For those of you who do not know, the college football playoffs is a four-team tournament, and the top four teams in the country are chosen by a playoff committee. And this year, the committee chose as its top four teams, Clemson got the number one seed, and they will be playing fourth-seeded Alabama. And then Oklahoma got the number two seed, and they will be playing third-seeded Georgia. Now, before I jump into those games, I do want to talk about Wisconsin season a little bit, as I am a Badger fan. It was disappointing to see our undefeated season come to an end. As for those of you who do not know, we did lose in the Big Ten championship game to Ohio State, 21-27. It was a really close game, which was really good to see, as many people thought that Ohio State could potentially blow Wisconsin out of the water. A few missed plays here and there, especially missed tackles early on in the game. If we make those, we might be looking at a Wisconsin victory there, which would have put them in the college football playoff. But that didn't happen, so now we have to focus our attention on Miami, who we will be playing in the Orange Bowl. Miami is also a very good team. They just came off a loss to Clemson in the ACC championship game. They lost 31-3. Wisconsin, from what I can tell, they're pretty similar teams. They both have very strong defenses and mediocre offenses. I think the key for Wisconsin will be getting their offense going. They did pretty well against Ohio State. I wasn't too surprised that they didn't do extremely well, as Ohio State was definitely the toughest defense that they had played all year so far. I don't think Miami is as good as Ohio State, so hopefully we can open up a few more running lanes for Jonathan Taylor, and hopefully Alex Hornibrook can complete a few more big passes. And hopefully our defense continues to play well. I thought they played Ohio State pretty well, outside of a few missed tackles here and there. But back to the big games, Clemson and Alabama. I'm going to take Clemson in that one. Alabama, I'm not while they usually do play in a few big games every year, this year they really didn't. Their biggest game was against Auburn, who they lost to. And outside of that, their biggest win was against Texas A&M, who this year was a mediocre team. So I think they will lose to Clemson, who is playing really well as of now. They just beat Miami, like I said. They have a really, really good defense, and they also have a really good quarterback, along with some wide receivers and running backs to go along with. So I will take Clemson over Alabama. And then Oklahoma and Georgia. I'm going to take Oklahoma. I think Baker Mayfield will have a really good game. He's definitely one of the better players in college football right now. Probably should win the Heisman, although I don't know how I would feel about that, considering his on-the-field antics against Kansas, but that remains to be seen. But I think he will have a good game. Georgia does have a good defense, but I think Oklahoma will win. I think the main key to victory for Oklahoma will be shutting down Georgia's running game. If they can do that, then they'll force Georgia to pass, which Georgia is not used to doing. So I'm going to take Oklahoma. As far as national championship predictions, I'm going to wait until the game actually occurs, or a few weeks later, to see if my predictions were right, and then I'll talk about the championship game in a little bit more detail and who I think will win that. So moving on to the next topic, we have the NFL. First of all, I'll give a Packers update, or at least what I think of them going on, or what's going on. I'm glad to see Aaron Rodgers is almost back. It's definitely been an interesting ride without him. I think Hundley has played okay, especially on the road. It's kind of disappointing to see his performance against Tampa Bay. Fortunately, our defense played pretty well as Jamal Williams and Aaron Jones, who had the game-winning touchdown. I think Rodgers' return might be a little too late for the Packers. They definitely can't win their division. Minnesota is going to take that. For us to even have a chance of winning our division, Minnesota would have to lose the rest of their games, and we would have to win the rest of our games. And I don't see Minnesota losing the rest of their games based on how well they've been playing lately. As far as the rest of the NFC goes, Minnesota and Philadelphia have the top 2 seeds. As of now, that is my prediction for the NFC Championship game. Although I wouldn't be too surprised to see New Orleans or Los Angeles sneak in there, both of which have been playing pretty well as of late. However, LA did beat New Orleans a few weeks ago. So yeah, we'll see how that finishes up. It'll be a very entertaining playoffs, I can guarantee you that. As far as the AFC goes, not so much. Outside of New England, Pittsburgh, and Jacksonville, there isn't really anyone who's playing phenomenally. Tennessee is 8-4, but they haven't been playing super great or like really good teams. It's kind of been beating up on the lower teams in the AFC. As far as who I think is going to come out of the AFC, my prediction is New England. I think the AFC Championship game will be New England and Pittsburgh. New England seems to have Pittsburgh's number in the playoffs, so I'm taking New England in that. And as far as the NFC, as of now, I would take Minnesota over Philadelphia, although it'd be a heck of a game to watch. It'd be really fun. I just think home field advantage, especially with a chance to play in the Super Bowl in their home stadium, would put Minnesota over Philadelphia. Okay, and then for the last segment, I'll be talking a little bit about the UMD men's hockey team. This last series they had was against number 1 Denver. At the time, we were ranked 16th. As of now, we are now 17th. But coming into the series, I was kind of worried that we were just going to get blown out of the water because Denver is a very good hockey team. Fortunately, that did not happen. We actually happened to play them really well, which I was surprised to see, but also really glad to see. It may have been a matchup thing. Sometimes teams match up better against other teams. Like we don't match up against Bemidji well. Bemidji always gives us fits. So it may have been a matchup thing. Also may have been a little bit of a revenge-seeking thing, as they did beat us in the NCAA championship last year, 3-2. So that may have added a little bit of fuel to our game. But unfortunately, we did lose both games. We lost on Friday 1-0, and then Saturday 2-1. Denver has a really good goaltender, and they're not weak in any category. They're not extremely physical or extremely fast. They're just a really well-disciplined hockey team. And their senior goaltender was playing out of his mind this weekend. I believe we outshot them both games, and through both games, he only allowed 1 goal. Hunter Shepard also played really well this weekend. Unfortunately, he just let in a few more goals than his counterpart did. Moving forward, we play Omaha this weekend, and I think if we can play like we did against Denver for the rest of the season, I think we'll be in really good shape. I don't know if we can win our conference, but maybe, just maybe, we can sneak into the NCAA tournament and do some damage, which was a lot of fun. We made it last year, and for those of us who got to experience that, that was an absolute blast. So, hopefully, we'll see. And that is it for this episode. I don't know how many of you will see this, but if you have sat through the whole thing, thank you for listening to my voice for now 9 minutes. Might do this next week, might do this the week after, depends on what happens in the sports world and what I want to talk about. So yeah, we'll see. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day and your week, and I will catch you guys later. Bye.